Being a new parent is hard, and conflicts with your partner that come up after a few sleepless nights with a newborn can make things even more difficult. Many of those issues lead to postpartum depression. The conventional wisdom is that it's a woman's illness, but it's just not true. That's right, it is not true. We are joined by nurse and owner of the South Florida franchise of Let Mommy Sleep, Rachel Wolf. Nice to have you here, Rachel.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here.
It's so interesting. We do postpartum depression. I would just say women, but you're telling us, yes, 1 in 7 women do suffer from it, which is something to consider, but men do too.
Right.
Why more women than men?
Well, women are, you're dealing with a much more intense hormonal shift, obviously. When you give birth, you're literally flooding hormones out of your body.
Right.
And they're seeing this big drop. And then for both parents, obviously, you're dealing with environmental stressors. You're dealing with the fact that you're sleep deprived. You're exhausted. You have a lot of pressures, like we were talking about with being a new parent, feeling like you want to be the best parent.
Is it for women, I mean, we know it's the hormone shift, the huge hormone shift. For men, is it more of just life has changed dramatically, can trigger it?
Yeah, you know, that is the perception, and it's sort of one that I definitely wanted to address, because so many men are afraid to come out and talk about it because they feel like, oh, I just can't handle it, so I'm just weak, I can't address this. But really, as women are dealing with this huge flood of hormones, men are actually dealing with increased prolactin, estrogen levels, and decreased testosterone levels. So they're also dealing with a hormone shift.
These are big changes.
Well. Absolutely.
How does postpartum depression differ from not just general depression, but general depression?
Well, it's triggered by an event, so you have something to really pinpoint it to. As far as the symptoms with women and men, you're going to deal with a lot of the same ones, that withdrawing from friends and family, sadness, crying, not enjoying your regular hobbies. With men, though, because they have these stigmas attached to it, you might also see that they don't seem sad or crying, but that they are maybe using alcohol, gambling, or you know, not performing at work, something like that.
What are postpartum visits?
So postpartum visits is something we started with Let Mommy Sleep. We traditionally did overnight newborn care at home, but we have become very passionate about this need that we're seeing in these homes. And postpartum depression is typically in women. It's typically something that has an onset after between 1 week and 1 month after birth. So at a postpartum visit, we started implementing, which is when a registered nurse goes into the home of the new mom and baby within that first week after birth. What we're going to do is assess mom and baby, obviously, for every physical need they have, but also assess mom for potential postpartum depression before that 1 week mark hits and she's in a more dangerous position.
Is part of this compounded by the fact that women and men don't want to say, this isn't the best time in my life right now? You know, people say, oh, you've got a baby, this is so wonderful, and it is. But is part of it like you can't come out and say, I'm not feeling great about everything right now?
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest things we see is moms are afraid. They feel like a bad mother. If they don't understand why they feel that way, they think there's something wrong with them. And when you're literally flooding hormones out of your body, it's absolutely not the case. It is something that happens. Postpartum is 15% of moms, but baby blues, which is a more mild form, happens to 80% of moms.
Don't be afraid to speak up. We are so out of time. I could go on and on. We've talked about what Let Mommy Sleep is a little bit, but there's much more on a website, Rachel's website of the same name. It's also on our website, WPTV.com. But the takeaway is speak up, speak out, men and women.
It's 100% treatable if we catch it.
Rachel, thank you so much for sharing that with us.